Nole Nation, welcome to the Renegade Rundown. This is going to be, I believe, number 17 for you guys. We're super excited to be here with you guys. Florida State gets the win over the University of Florida, despite what these different four-letter networks, ESCCPN, and all these guys want to tell you. Florida State is in it if they win it. They got one more game against Louisville this Saturday in Charlotte. How's it going tonight, Jen? You ready for this call-in show? We had a
Oh,
little
I
bit of
am.
technical difficulties thanks to your producer here. We had a little mix-up, but we got it all together. What's up, Jen?
Hey, how are you?
Doing good. How are you doing today? I heard you had a
I'm
little
doing.
mishap before the show.
I did. My little one has been sick for like 2 weeks, and now it like seems like it's gotten worse. So, just a little upchuck on me. I would have had my regular Florida State stuff on, but was trying to be on time, so put on my 4th and 14 sweatshirt. How about that?
That's right. 4th and 14, baby. What started it all just a few
Mm-hmm.
years ago, that fateful moment.
Absolutely.
Man, we sure have come a long, long ways from 4th and 14. It's a shame that Jordan Travis doesn't get to start in this week's ACC championship, but nonetheless, here we are, 12-0, looking for 13-0. Man, the transfer portal doesn't even open technically, guys, until December. I believe it's December the 4th. It's going to be the Monday following championship weekend. So all these championship games on December 2nd, we play Louisville. The following Monday, the transfer portal officially opens. Now, we've seen like just tons and tons of players dive in, and what you guys are seeing out there is graduate transfers, one, entering their name in the portal because they aren't governed by the dates. They can transfer whenever and however they please, pretty much, as long as they're within the semester limits and that kind of stuff, because they've graduated, they've got their degree. There is no one-time transfer rule. They can just do whatever they please. But the one-time transfer rule, the new portal legislation that comes into effect, starts Monday, December 4th. It's going to be absolutely nuts. You're already seeing hundreds of players, be it those undergraduates, graduates, and people just kind of putting their name in the hat early, saying they intend to go in. I've talked about it a lot. People seem to think this is going to be a smaller transfer portal class because the high school recruiting's come along and there's going to be less positions. But shoot, I think there's going to be another 10 to 12 guys, and this portal class is going to be unlike anything everybody's ever seen. We saw last year this kind of recruiting class portal class we brought in. It wasn't diamonds in the rough here or there. It was top guys like Keon Coleman, more in line with a transfer portal class like USC signed in 22, when they got Jordan Addison and them guys. So super, super excited for it. And I think he's just going to bring in an absolute blue chip heaven, just all-star crew of portal guys, like the best player from several teams across the nation. And one spot that I didn't think they would go is quarterback. I
Yeah.
think you might have disagreed with me and said that you thought they would, and I think you were probably right on that. I think after seeing that Florida game and just understanding that even if Tate Rodemaker is that guy, or you think Brock Glenn is the future and he could, be that stud, you're one injury from being handcuffed in a position with a true freshman quarterback. And that's not a situation you want to be in. So yeah, you've got to look at that transfer market. What do you think?
I mean, I agree. I think they will. I think they're going to try if they can find somebody that fits. I don't think they're bringing in just a body. I don't think that's what they're going to do. I think they would try somebody who fits, and if they do fit, then that would be an option. But I don't think they're just looking for just anybody. I think they'll roll with what they got if they have to. I don't think they're just going to bring somebody in to mess up the locker room. Like, I don't see that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. Guys, in case you didn't see the branding, this is going to be the first ever call-in show, and I'm looking at getting the number up on the board. We're going to start taking calls here in about 6 minutes. So give me just 1 second, and I will get the number up on the board. If there's anything, Jen, you've got on your mind, I know there's all kinds of funny stuff you've been working on the
Oh
timeline.
my
If there's
goodness. It's
anything
been
you
an
want to let the
amazing.
folks know about.
Well, I was actually trying to double check on some of these transfer portal items that I have been monitoring, obviously. Um, I think the big news right now is Florida's transfer portal players. Like
Wow. Who all
it's
do you have it in front of
wild.
you? It's like it's a pretty good list of players already.
It is. And then there's rumors of more. I don't know if you want me to say rumors or if you want me to say the ones that have been confirmed.
This is Jen's time. This
I
is
don't know
Jen's portal minute.
If
So
you
whatever
don't,
you want to.
Okay, cool. So we are looking at Shamar out of Florida is a rumor. Wilson is a rumor, but ETN is the big one that they're waiting on that is meeting with the coaches. And it looks like from some people in the know at Florida, they are saying, yeah, definitely. He's either looking for an NIL deal or a bigger one, or he's really going, and they're leaning towards more he's going. And I tend to agree with that. I think a lot of these are huge. If the Wilson kid goes, that's huge. Again, that's just a rumor. I'm not seeing anything confirmed by anybody that I would, and I just checked my messages, even though you guys know I don't like to be in my DMs that much, but I did just check my messages. I don't have any confirmation on anything like that, but ETN definitely is thinking about it. And they're saying probably about an 85% chance he does. And they're saying Georgia for him, which is.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, look, Travis or Trevor, I believe it's Trevor Etienne. He is a beast. I like him better than his older brother. I think he's got a real, like, a lower center of gravity and a better running style suited for the NFL than his brother. And his brother's been a beast. He's kind of surprised me coming out of Clemson. So,
right.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me one bit to see him to go to Georgia. A big part of Florida's issues that they're seeing right now, look, Florida has been begging for coaching changes, similar to a lot of guys in FSU's offseason and preseason years. Well, they got them. They got their chances.
But aren't you surprised at who they fired first? Because I feel like that was kind of
yeah, for sure. They let go their defensive back line coach and they let go their defensive back coach. Those are the first two guys they let go. So, yeah, like those guys you mentioned, of course, you're going to have to look at bringing, the guy from Memphis back. He's, he lost his coach. That was his link to Florida.
Yep.
Same thing with a lot of these DBs, Mincy, et cetera, that they're recruiting. Now Raymond's gone.
Yep.
And you're talking about one of the transfers possibly going to Georgia. There's a rumor out there that Corey Raymond could end up being the defensive back at Georgia if that coach ends up taking the Syracuse head coach job, because the UGA DB coach is looking at that job.
Syracuse just announced theirs.
Did they announce a hire? Let's see if it was him.
Yes, they did.
I believe it was UGA's DB coach they were about to hire.
Hang on, I have it right in front of me, and I wish I could tell you the exact name. I'm sorry to not be prepared on that, but
you're just
I would have had it open. I had it in front of me, and then I lost it.
Yeah, Trey Ward back in the portal. I would not mind to have him back at Florida State. So
it is Fran Brown.
Yeah, Fran Brown, UGA DB coach.
Yep.
So, how funny would that be? Florida complaining about Corey Raymond and all this stuff about play on the field, and then he goes to Georgia, similar to Miami losing their defensive coordinator to Alabama. Absolutely, there's no doubt about it.
It'll be really good, and I honestly, here's another one. I know Miami fans love them some Guidry, right? And he's a fantastic defensive coordinator, right? I'm not going to be surprised if another team makes a run at him. Please see USC. I'm only saying that.
Makes a run at who? Sorry, I was looking at comments.
Guidry from Miami.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Guidry, look, as much as we want to pick on Miami, they nailed that hire. I mean,
they nailed it. And you want to, Guidry has had some personal issues. That's why he's been flailing at, or stuck at Marshall, right? He has some that other teams didn't want to touch. Once Miami touched it, he did well. Here's where all the other teams are about to come in. I'm not saying it's definite. I'm saying, I'd be on the lookout for it. And if I were Miami right now, I'd be throwing some money at this man.
Yeah, for sure. You got to keep Guidry in tow. And you've already lost, I think, their linebacker, who's a damn good linebacker. Flag hit the portal.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And
so
I could definitely see a team like USC with all the money in the world, all the prestige, being like, look, we got to get something unless, or else Lincoln Riley's gone if he's not already gone. So
yeah, without a doubt.
that's my 2 cents. I could definitely see that. I could definitely see another big time team if they lose their defensive coordinator to a head coaching job. We don't know. All those things happen all the time, right?
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
And Miami got him on the cheap. They got him. Just I'm not gonna put his business out there or anything, but they got him because of some issues. I think everybody knows that. But he's really good. He is really good. And I can just see it. I can see it. I can see him looking around going, I can make a fresh start. I mean, I know he's only been there for a year, but does he really think that that's really going anywhere? I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'd be all for it. Get him the heck out of here. TVD heads to the portal. There's a good chance he'll probably end up with SMU. I wish, and even if he doesn't go to SMU, I hope he ends up somehow, some way, whether it be in a bowl game. Let's just get TVD at his new spread air raid school, whatever one he chooses. Let's get him versus Miami, and let's see him put up about 7 touchdowns for them after all the heck he took down there. Would be just beautiful.
I feel like for me, I think it would become full circle if for some reason, and I know this isn't even on the table, so guys don't quote me. This is just me manifesting funny because that's, I enjoy a good laugh. But how about if he went to Georgia Tech or something?
Oh, that'd be perfect.
And then just, oh my God, because Georgia Tech broke them, so they were broken by Georgia Tech. And how amazing would it be? And I'm not saying Hayes King, we all get this. This is just riffing for fun. But that would be just incredible as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, sorry, we had a little issues there. You start, you change your, you upgrade your technology a little bit, and then you run into issues there. So, but yeah, we're getting there, guys. I'm about to put the number up on the screen. Get your calls in. We're going to open up the lines right now. Me and Jen are going to keep cutting it up, and when the first call comes in, we will get you on air if somebody calls in. While we're on air with somebody talking, getting their chance, getting their hot take off, asking their question, you won't be able to get through. So just understand that once we end one caller, you'll be able to call in and get a chance to get your question in. So get those calls in, any questions you might have. Obviously, the College Football Playoff Committee has came out, and Florida State moves back up thanks to the carnage. Ohio State loses. We move up and fill their spot. So we're at number 4, but really, Kirk Herbstreit spent about 30 minutes just completely telling every kind of reason that Florida State shouldn't be in, why Bama should be in, and it just kills me. It's hilarious. Every single thing that they use for Florida State can be applied to the other team. And I don't know how many people caught this, but at the end of it, right when they go to sign off, Reese throws out at the second, oh, and by the way, in this ACC championship, Florida State or Louisville, whichever one wins, will be their first win against a currently ranked college football playoff team. And I'm sitting here thinking, did LSU disappear into a plume of smoke? Because I could have swore they were number 13 in the rankings. I mean, surely they don't mean since the rankings came out, because it's literally been only out for a few weeks, and that would be absolutely idiotic to say. But when you look across the board at the other teams, Bama has 2? And they lost to one of them. So it's Georgia has how many? 1. Michigan has how many? 1. So what's the difference here? What do you say? Why would you reach out to say that about Florida State?
I mean,
and then even 247 Sports did a graphic, and underneath it says, here's the 5 teams, and it's if this happens, who gets in? And it's got, all these teams in Oregon with a 1 loss, and in Texas with a 1 loss, and Florida State undefeated. In parentheses, it says FSU wins, but barely over Louisville. It's why are you why is everybody in the nation wanting to single us out, Jen? What's going on?
Because they hate us. And And they've hated us for a long time. This isn't anything new. But, I was one of the few Florida State people that guess who responded to on Twitter. I'm just saying, Matt Berry, he responded to me because I asked him, I said, okay, so you said Florida State struggled with Florida. Cool. What's your excuse for Washington struggling against Washington State, a 5-win team, the same as Florida, for Georgia struggling with Georgia Tech, a 5 or 7-win team, which we all know Georgia Tech is not great. And what's the excuse for Alabama struggling against Auburn, who just got blown out by New Mexico State, who they paid $2 million to have that done to them?
On a miracle.
So, yeah, and they need a miracle. I said, and those were all with their starting quarterbacks, and y'all aren't batting an eye. So where is the hair pulling over that? Where's the hair pulling? Why don't you apply the same standards? And he's like, what did he say on my response? I think I sent it to you, but like, it was something like, oh, I agree. He backtracked, absolutely backtracked, didn't like it. And I was like, okay, that's a cool response, but you're still not answering the question as to why you got on live TV. You said these things knowing full well those games played with those reasonings, and yet you still made an ass out of yourself. I'm sorry, Matt Berry, I appreciate your response. I really do, but you didn't answer my question.
Yeah, they're not going to. All these different guys have all their reasons. They have their different agendas, whether it be they like the SEC or Joel Klatt, it's a Pac-12 guy. Everybody's got their reasons, but for some reason to me, it just feels like Florida State gets singled out in these things. I don't understand it. I think that's we're just a program they love to hate, like the Yankees or something.
Well,
so it is what it is. I'll take it.
We provide the most clicks. Let's be real. We bring the engagement. We bring the eyeballs. Our fans are very engaged. My God, he's still crying on YouTube about it. Like, this is a grown man. Him and Paul Feinbaum are still crying because Florida State Twitter is being mean to them for the 3rd day in a row. Like, I mean, okay. I get mean things all the time, and I don't get up here and start boo-hooing and crying, and I'm a female. So, maybe you should just man up, understand you had a bad take, move on, and then realize that your logic was flawed. That's it. Just admit your logic is flawed. You clearly have a bias for some reason. I don't know what it is, but you're obviously not looking at it as an objective person. Because again, I can sit here and rail on Washington all I want to, but if they beat Oregon, they're in too. That's the deal.
Oops. We added extra George to the stream there for a second.
I mean, like I said, it's the deal. Like if Washington beats Oregon, they're in too. As much as I want to bag on Washington's defense and how they've won 10 close games or 8 close games by less than 10 points.
And you have common opponents there. It's
they're still in.
We both saw Florida State play LSU, and we both saw Florida State play Bama. But if you bring that up, it's like, oh, you're gonna do that. You're gonna compare 2 teams separate. But it's like, that's what y'all do all year long, all day long, every day. It's like,
and some teams get the credit for teams that are ranked now. Some teams get credit for teams that are ranked when they played them, a la Washington. I'm not saying anything. Again, if Washington wins out, they're in too. I have no problem with that. And I'm not sitting here advocating for them to be left out, unlike Washington fans against Florida State fans. I'm saying if you're in a Power 5 conference, you are undefeated. This narrative is wrong. That's it.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
If you don't want it to happen, don't make them a Power 5 conference. End of story.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And then you've got teams like JMU who pop in there and have an amazing season, and they're left out just because of pure bureaucracy. I think that's part of it. I mean, I understand that Florida State is a rather new power, like of the blue bloods. They're one of the newer, blue bloods, so that makes sense to why folks, wouldn't like them. But at some point, it just gets absolutely ridiculous over and over again. Even in the 2013 season, it was, oh, well, the reason y'all are killing everybody because the ACC is just so terrible. And none of these teams are any good. And then as soon as FSU goes down, Clemson goes on a run, wins 2 out of 4 or 5 national championships or whatever the case may be. Look, there's good football play all over the country. In any given year, they may be like one extra really good team in the SEC or one extra really good team in the Big Ten, but these teams are all pretty close. It's especially now with the transfer portal, and you've seen it all year long. I believe like out of the top 10, Bud Elliott's always saying this stat, like there's only been 2 teams that have like lost against the spread all year long, like that have been rated by or been favored by 10 points or more. Like these teams, they all play good ball. And when they get up together, the record ACC versus SEC is 6-4. So no matter how you want to slice and dice it, Florida State wins out. They're in there. And it's not just some kind of, oh, well, they're just the most deserving or they're just, no, they're just the 4th best team in the nation. I don't want to hear it. The strength of this team is the defense. As much as it's been railed on all year, even though Adam Fuller did not make the finals for the Burroughs Award, which is an absolute load of shit. The guy, I mean, we averaged giving up 4.8 points per game in the second half. That is huge, guys. Like, when do you win ball games? When do championship ball teams show up? They show up in the 4th quarter. And time in and time out, they show out. And time in, week out, these people have some reason to hold something against Florida State. Like, it kills me. And Florida's only touchdown was a complete gift. We should have beat them by like way more. Really and truly, that game should have been more 34 to like 9 or some weird score than what it ended up being. But they got the score, but we covered the spread, and at least Greg McElroy had our back. And also, guys, if y'all don't want to call in, I know it's tough. Not everybody wants to be on a YouTube show, but you can also text in questions or anything like that. If you want to get any questions in before we get out of here. But let's talk some Louisville, man. Florida State versus Louisville in the ACC championship game. Unfortunately, I don't know whether you call it unfortunate or not, but Louisville drops the game to an unranked Kentucky, which just kind of killed all the momentum and fed and fueled all these different narratives. But at the end of the day, Louisville is still 10-2 on the year. They've got 2 losses against a Pitt team and a Kentucky team that are both kind of not what Florida State is. They want to muck it up. They want to slow down the ball game. They want to run, which even though, typically not been Florida State this year, that's kind of what we fell on with the past couple of weeks, just trying to establish the run and protect Tate Rodemaker. But they're just more of a classic football team. They've got a classic drop back quarterback who's going to be a statue back there and deliver the ball. I haven't watched a super ton of tape, but when you look at their offensive line and their tight ends and how they play together, they're a very well coached unit. Seems like they run a lot of max protect stuff, and they're not going to put Plummer out there on an island. But it looks like we have our first caller coming in. Let's see what we got here. If we got a good question. How's it going? You're live with the Renegade Report.
All right. I have a question. I hope that in the portal, when it comes to the Miami linebacker that you had reported,
Flag.
I think his name Flag, yes. I'm hoping that we go out and grab him because he'll be a good addition to the team. I'm wondering what you think about that, what y'all think about it. And the second part of what I got to say is I'm hoping that we play a complete game because I'm a Noles fan, diehard, but I would have to say all season long, we haven't played a complete game. From the first whistle, granted, we're a second half team, but you got to get hot coming out the gate. And that's all I got to say.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate you. We're going to hang up and get this line open and answer those questions. I love those questions, brother. And we'll catch you on the next one. Yeah, absolutely. Go Noles. Yeah, I agree, man. Jamori Flag, I believe is his name. You got to knock the tires on it. I'm not sure if he's the guy that we end up getting, but also, and I'm going to look up his name here real quick. There is a linebacker that we recruited that I believe ended up going to Arkansas.
Yeah.
And he's entered the portal. Yeah. And he was like, I believe, freshman All-American in the ACC and a big-time playmaker. So that kid, we will definitely kick the tires on, but I agree 100%. Look, guys, we're going to lose 2 absolute stalwarts of our defense this year in Kalen DeLoach and Tatum Bethune. and especially Kalen DeLoach, the second half of the season has been an absolute menace. So I'm all for getting a couple portal guys, and his name, I believe, is Chris Paul Jr.
Yep. The
is
Pooh
going to
Bear,
be,
right?
yeah, Pooh Bear. So
Yep.
look out for Pooh Bear from Arkansas. There's been nothing. I don't have any sources inside the team. This is just conjecture as the portal hasn't, officially opened. But with him hitting and us having a relationship there, I would definitely expect to see him. And look, a full game. We've got to see it. We've talked a ton about it. We have not seen that full 4-quarter game from Florida State. It would be really nice having the backup quarterback, having everything going on, to be able to get that done in the Louisville game. If we could get that momentum, get that quick start off and put 2 clean halves together, it would be an amazing start for that Louisville game. But that's the elephant in the room, guys. If we can put 4 quarters together, there's nobody in this nation we cannot beat, be it Georgia, be it Michigan, be it anybody. If this team puts together 4 quarters, it's over with. A lot of teams have done a real good job, and give them credit. In the first half, they have came in and schemed up, especially running plays on this defense early on, super exotic stuff that they haven't shown all year, this and that, or switching back to something they haven't done in a while. But Fuller adjusts. And then in the second half, they do not run it. And as far as the passing defense, it's been great pretty much all year, all game long. That's the one thing that's been extremely consistent is the passing game. So it's not like we go down big, but yes, you're absolutely right, man. We have absolutely got to do a better job as far as consistency. If we want to get to that playoff and possibly win, we might could squeak by Louisville with another performance like we've had. But yeah, let's definitely put that game together. And if not against Louisville, if we manage to squeak out of there, we're going to have to, if we're going to want to win one of those playoff games for sure.
Well, I kind of disagree with you on Louisville. I don't think we're squeaking by Louisville. I have said from day one, that team doesn't scare me. Whether you could put Jordan Travis back there, Tate, you could put Brooklyn. I don't care. They're DBs. They're still Brownlee, and I am A-okay with that. You could throw that ball. My son could go out there and throw that ball to Brown, and as long as it's a wide receiver covered by Brownlee, I'm good with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, what I was saying is we could afford to slip by Louisville by not playing our best game. No, I expect we'll see Friday when we do our show and do our predictions. I'm definitely not predicting us to sneak by them, but we could have a bad game and still get by them is what I'm saying. If we get to the playoffs, we're going to have our A game.
I think we could have a bad game and get by them by 6 or 7.
Oh, okay. So you're saying we can have a bad game and still cover the spread?
Oh yeah,
I like it. I love the confidence, and I'm with you.
Give
Look,
it.
We haven't had a statue quarterback all year. Like, we're going to tee off against that dude. How excited are you for that?
But I haven't seen him be very good. Like I'm sorry, I've been watching some of these games these last 2 days because again, I didn't really watch Louisville. I don't get the CW a whole lot. I have to, download it and get an app and all that stuff. But I did watch them today off my DVR, but yeah, I'm not, everybody's like, oh, that defense is good. Okay. Are they? I mean,
No,
Louisville had the
isn't
easiest schedule I've ever seen. They did beat Notre Dame, but so did Clemson and Ohio State. And you beat Clemson already, and Clemson's defense is way better than Notre Dame or than Louisville could even dream about being. I'm sorry. I'm not here for that talk. Everybody's like, well, Louisville's defense is really good. No, Clemson's defense is really good. Louisville's is
Yeah,
Miami's
Louisville's defense was really
good.
good last year. They're not near as good this year as they were last year. They're good. I think 10 or 15 spots lower.
And remind me what happened when we played Louisville's defense last year.
Who was it? Didn't some skinny little white kid came in at quarterback?
Mm-hmm.
What was his name?
And that same wide receiver that was blanketing Brownlee was still here. I feel
so bad for Brownlee, and he's even been chirping a little bit. Nowhere near to the level that it was going into the game last year. But yeah, he's definitely chirping a little bit, and it's like, okay, I can just see this guy in his bag studying all year long. I'm gonna get that 6'7" son of a bitch, and I'm gonna guard him.
And look, now you can't.
he's got to guard Keon Coleman and Jaheim Bell and everybody else too. It's like
I'm sitting there.
He's going to line
like,
up against Johnny, and he's going to move out of the way, and they're going to put Keon in front of him. He's like, oh, hold on.
I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you how many people have told me this year, because I was like, wait a minute, y'all are worried about Louisville. We've got now Keon Coleman, Jaheim Bell, and we still have Johnny Wilson. Their starting defensive back is who again? And they're like, oh, he's got people on lockdown this year. I was like, okay, that's great. But are they Keon Coleman, Jaheim Bell? Because he couldn't do a damn thing with Johnny Wilson. And so now you add on 2 with that. Miss me with that talk. I'm good with that. And oh God, I mean, I'm sorry. Those dudes are probably sitting there just now going like, I'm about to eat. I'm about to make some money this weekend. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make some money, become a millionaire. Cool. Go to the college football playoffs. It is what it is.
Again, guys, get those calls in. If you don't want to call on air, you can text any questions you want to have answered. We're about halfway through. We're going to hang out with you guys for another 30, 40 minutes and have a lot of fun. But yeah, I agree with you on all that stuff. Look, the biggest thing for me is the pocket quarterback. And like you said, it's not like he's some gunslinger sitting in there in the pocket throwing over all the field. He does just enough for what they need to do to win their ball games. Game manager, there's nothing scary there. And having him back there, I just have a feeling they're going to come out in a ton of like max protect and really try to protect him. But I just don't see how they're going to be able to do it with Jared Verse and these pass rushers coming off the edge. The big thing is going to be just like in the Florida game with Rodemaker. I think if you protect the ball, like you said, you don't need a perfect performance. You don't need super flashy. Just don't turn over the ball a ton and don't beat yourself, because Louisville is one of these teams that's just going to go out there and they're just going to execute. They're not going to do anything crazy. They're going to let you beat yourself if you'll do it. And like you said, they just didn't have anybody on the schedule. You know, they've not played a Florida State all year.
And look at them on the road. Please look at them on the road.
Totally different team.
And it's not great. And do you really think Louisville fans are filling up Charlotte like Florida State fans are? I don't. There's not going to be like a hometown crowd. There's not going to be a huge presence. Louisville fans, I mean, it would be basketball season if their basketball team wasn't so awful. But like, they're doing other things. They're not going to Charlotte. They don't have anything really to play for. They would probably be okay with going to the Orange Bowl playing, Ohio State that gets left out. I think they'd be fine with that. Which is where they would be.
Yeah, somebody... What's that?
Oh, I was going to say, Braum will still win ACC Coach of the Year. And so they'll be really happy.
Yeah, somebody in the comments said that Louisville lost to Notre Dame. That is not true. Notre Dame
that's not true.
Got
they won.
Smoked by Louisville, and Louisville lost to Pitt out of nowhere, and then they lost to Kentucky out of nowhere, like we talked about earlier. 2 teams that kind of, for them, similar to looking in a mirror, and dragged them into kind of the game they wanted to play. And they lost, because like we've talked about, Louisville isn't anything really special. No. But we opened up the show with the portal. And look, guys, we're going to be talking about the portal a ton moving forward. I'm on record. I've said it a billion times. Everybody the past couple months, the popular take is Florida State's only going to take 5 to 7 guys. They're more high school now. We've got a number 3 recruiting class. They're not going to keep doing this because it's going to piss off the high school recruiting and mess them up and all this stuff. No, that isn't going to happen. Florida State has carved out a niche. Mike Norvell saw ahead of the curve before anybody even knew there was a curve there with this transfer portal, and he's going to take full and total control of this son of a gun, and we're going to sign the best transfer portal class there's ever been. I don't think people realize how many guys, as soon as they hit the portal, their first call, it's going to be to Florida State. It's going to be to Mike Norvell begging to get in. People are going to be knocking down Florida State's door to get in. There's just so many examples. Keon Coleman being the latest of a guy coming in here and becoming, a talking point in the entire nation, a first round type draft pick. You've got Jared Verse from last year. Same thing. Absolutely killing it. But at the same time, high school recruiting is not done yet, guys. Another thing we've told you right here at the Renegade Report is that we are going to make a run at the #1 recruiting class, and I'm about to give you guys 3 big predictions from the Renegade Report. I'm going to give you my top 10 recruits I think that are left on the board as of right now, and there are more, and some people may disagree with me, but these are just my top 10 guys on the board left, and I'm going to give you 3 that I think end up in this class and push you towards possibly getting that number 1 spot. And we're going to come off the top rope with the first one, and that's Jeremiah Smith, guys. The dude has been on campus. I've lost count. I've lost track 13, 14, 15 different times. Most recently, he was in Gainesville to watch us whoop up on the Gators. I seen a tweet saying that the Florida staff had to go over there and physically remove him from Florida State's locker room because he was wanting to listen to Mike Norvell in the post-game speech. Now that may just be a joke, or it may be really, just take it for what it's worth.
I think it was. Look, I think it might have been a joke, but I'm not for sure.
But look,
that guy can tweet like he can tweet. I wish I could tweet like he could.
He's got the socials figured out. There's no doubt.
I'm so jealous.
But right here, right now, I'm putting and we don't call them crystal balls over here for copyright reason or whatever. We go with the Crystal Trophy prediction that's copyrighted for the RenegadeReport.substack.com. If you're not already a subscriber over there at the website, go check that out. I know a lot of people are into reading articles. But yeah, Jeremiah Smith is going to be the first recruit I'm going to give you guys. I'm putting my Crystal Trophy in for him. I think he is in this class. We talked about transfer portal linebackers. There's a guy named Coy Parrish, 6'1", 195 pounds. He's the number 137 overall recruit in the 247, top 247, not the top 247, actually the composite that takes all the 4 major recruiting services into consideration. And that's number 137 overall as a safety. I do not believe he's going to play safety at Florida State. He's going to come in and be a part of that linebacker room right off the bat. And I'm here to tell you right now, I'm putting in my Crystal Trophy prediction for him to come in to this class as well. And the final one, and we'll give you the rest of the top 10 after our next question, but the third guy, Kai Bates. This is one, I don't think this is a surprise to anybody in here. We've talked about it a lot. Kai Bates was committed to LSU after seeing that complete disaster of a season down there, ends up decommitting, and it's in my estimation that he ends up being a Florida State Seminole. And obviously you saw CJ Hurd decommitted recently off the bottom of that class. I think you see Kai Bates come up and fill one of those holes and just makes Florida State that much more of a competitor on that high school recruiting stage. I think we end up second or first. I truly do. But no, there's no way we'll be less than top 5. But Florida State, depending on what Georgia and Ohio State do, if they flip guys from different squads or stuff, we can never know. But judging currently off the recruits that are out there, who are after those 3 teams that I just put, or those 3 players I just put in a prediction for, Florida State will get over 300 points. That big threshold that separates a decent class and these historical classes. I think Florida State gets there and they get over 300. But here's our next question. What's up, George? This is Zach. What positions in the portal do you think we go after the hardest? And I've been running my mouth. What do you think, Jen? I'll let you do this one first. What do you think is the biggest positions?
Number 1, defensive line. Number 1. I mean, I wouldn't mind an offensive lineman. I wouldn't mind a defensive tackle. I wouldn't mind. And I still think they go in for a quarterback if there's one that fits. What do you think about Trayshawn Ward coming back?
I'm all for it.
Me too, man. I love that kid. Come on.
It's one of those things. I wish you would have never left. I mean, when you talk about what we've been talking about, how Trey Benson is more of a guy who needs his carries and gets downhill, and we've been kind of struggling in the first half, not getting off to a great start. Trayshawn Ward is exactly what the doctor ordered. He was that guy in past years that would make those 7 and 8 yard runs when there was nothing there, or when you just had that hole is only open for a half second. And it's like, we get mad at Trey Benson, but the ability to make those decisions and do that is something special. That guys like Dalvin and Trayshawn Ward.
It's that quick step. It's that quick push. It's that burst. It's that initial,
one cut runners.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Benson oh my God, Trey Benson is amazing. I'm not even criticizing at all. It's just a different player. It's a different player. It's a different set. It's a different look. And for me, I love Keziah Holmes. Keziah Holmes kind of reminds me of a little bit of Trayshawn Ward, a little bit. He's got that quick burst. But
God, I want to see him get his snaps so bad.
I know, I do too. Like I would love it, and I love Lawrence Philly. There is nothing against that. There's just this, when you want to do the dual running back play, right? You want to put it in you kind of need one that does the extra burst and one that is just that downhill beast, right?
Smash and dash, baby.
Yeah. So to me, it's like you pick and choose your poison. You have one on one side, that's that quick burst, and you have the one on the other side. And that is an amazing offense. We all know it. We've seen it. I don't know what to say. So I would love it, but I know it's probably not going to happen, obviously. I just, I love that kid. I really did. I wish him the best. I hope he goes somewhere good. I hope it's not Tennessee, because then I don't love you anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry.
My guy, Angelo Smith, thanks for the support, man. He's always up in here. What is this I'm hearing about Armando Blunt visiting UM again? So Angelo, there was something earlier in the week, maybe the end of last week, where people were talking about this. Turned out to be total BS. I don't think the visit ever happened. I think he's pretty locked into Florida State. I'm currently, my worry scale of him flipping back to Miami or going anywhere is at about a 2 out of 100. I don't think there's anything to worry about there, but I will reach out, and if there's anything there for real, we will definitely report on it and let you guys know on the next show. But I'm not sure. I know there was one talk of a visit that never happened. I don't know if they've got another one on the books. But I will check it out.
I have a little bit different of opinion, and not to say, I just think that South Florida kids, you have to be prepared for anything as far as that's concerned. I do think he's around Miami a little bit more than most people know, but I also think that at the end of the day, his heart was with Florida State. I do think that there is some truth to the rumor that Miami is doing whatever they can to get him. Yeah. But that doesn't mean anything. I think also the games got played. I think that's it. At the end of the day, the games got played. And what's he going to do? Go watch Miami put a walk-on in a bowl game? I mean, Miami's about to lose their 10th bowl game in the last 10 years. When's the last time they won a bowl game? Let's look at that.
It was the Citrus Bowl, and it's only won in the past 20 years. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's insanity. They cannot win bowl games. It's just, look, this kid wants to win. I think he has a winning mentality. I think he's just being pulled in a couple different directions. And I also think the Miami message boards get people really excited. But I also think, look, I think there is a little worry. I'm not saying there's a ton. I wouldn't. I just think South Florida kids are different. I don't think that makes him a bad kid. I think there is some push and pull going on. And that's just my 2 cents.
No, you're 100% right. Yeah, there's no doubt. Look, these guys, he was committed to Miami for how long?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he's just going to completely sever all those relationships and not talk to anybody again. But he's committed to Florida State, and I think that's where he'll end up. And
but I also
like Jen said, you're going to hear this stuff, and it's just part of it. But yeah, I'm not worried.
But my thing with him is that he wanted to commit to Florida State before he committed to Miami. I think Florida State was in his heart then. I think it is now. I think there's just some Miami push and pull. It's really hard for those South Florida kids to leave Miami. It becomes hard in their neighborhood. It becomes hard everywhere they go. And so I get that. And you just have to just be patient. And he could flip. And guess what? We'll get him in the transfer portal in a year. There you go.
That's it, man. Let him go to one of these FSU junior colleges like SC Junior over there. Them jokers. I seen they've had a couple players.
How's our farm school doing? How's our farm school doing? Do we have anything?
I seen a DN hit the portal, Jen. I'm gonna have to check him out. I saw somebody in the chat also mention a center from Notre Dame. Look, guys, I'm with you. And we talked about the linebacker from Miami, the linebacker from Arkansas. I just need you guys to understand, okay? The portal is not open yet. Yep. These are just grad transfers and people who are announcing their quote unquote intentions. Okay. These exit interviews at these schools have not happened. Some places they have that are like completely out of bowl contention. Maybe they've already started their exit interviews like Miami, but most programs haven't. So come next Monday, December 4th, after championship weekend. So you'll see who's really going to be in the portal. So don't get all excited and think we got to grab this linebacker in this center, because you don't know who's going to hit yet. And I'm telling you, contrary to popular belief and the narrative in past years, I think even, and you've heard me say that you're just not going to get a great offensive tackle or a great defensive end out of the portal. I think even some of those guys come available this year with some of these programs like Texas A&M that are blowing stuff up. But it looks like we got our next caller. What's going on? You've got the Renegade Report Call-In Show live. You're on the air.
Hi, Renegade Report. My name is Ronison. I'm a long-time viewer, first-time caller. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. How's it going, man?
Yeah, real good. Listen, I just wanted to let y'all viewers know that I have a giant penis.
Well, the guy, he's got it going on. I don't know if that's exactly BDE to call into the call-in show to have to let everybody know that, but yeah, that Rutherford or whatever he is, he's got a nice Scottish accent or something there. I thought maybe it was going to be serious, but no. Nice.
Oh my
nice
goodness.
joke call there.
You know what? I probably should take the blame for that, because if you could see my DMs with
Oh my gosh,
I swear to God, like when I posted that we were going to do a call-in show, I was really nervous about the calls we were going to get.
All right, well, let's try another one. Let's see if we get another spammer.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, it's the same guy. This guy, he's persistent, if nothing.
Imagine that being your life. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh my gosh. I had people calling my phone, because this number's out there for different stuff for RenegadeReport.com over the years. They're calling me like, I forget. Oh, Jordan Travis's injury after the North Alabama game. I have people calling me trolling that on my phone. Like, do you know how you have to be like a half-inch tall for that to be your life? And like, that's what makes you happy. But whatever. It means we're doing good, Jen. We're doing good.
I mean, it was so fun. Yeah, no, I got calls from Instagram multiple times. People would look up my Instagram off of Twitter and start calling my phone until I finally realized, hey, wait, I should probably turn this off.
Jeez, this guy is he will not stop.
Is it the same guy?
Yeah. Let's see here.
Oh my God.
I saw a comment I wanted to talk about here. Coach is a great evaluator of talent. I'm not going to throw it up there. I'm going to leave the number in case we have somebody that wants to talk about something other than the size of their body parts here. Kev here. Coach is a great evaluator of talent. Trust. This is it. This is all what it comes down to. Mike Norvell, regardless, since he got here from day one, and this has been my big thing, people weren't happy with the size of his classes he brought in. They weren't happy with the rankings. They weren't happy with the fact that we had to go so heavy in the transfer portal. But what he did from day one is he evaluated guys, and he only brought in dudes that fit his system, fit his culture, his belief system, all that good stuff. And those are the guys he brought in, and the guys he's continuing to bring in. And now you're just seeing that those guys happen to be the very best of the very best, and also just no doubt players. But here we have a good call going in. I can vouch for this guy. Brad, right. My good friend, Brad Futrell. What's going on, man? You're live on the air. Talking Noles, man. What's going on?
Got a little question. Some guys today were talking about Tate and Glenn. And they was thinking, just getting your input on this for the Louisville game, they was thinking that Mike should put them in just like for the Saints did with Hill and Breeze, switching them out and using Glenn because he does got some legs. He is fast. What is your input on that? You think that's something they should do or try or no?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just going to throw you on mute here real quick. And then we'll get back with you. But yeah, I agree, man. Look, I don't want to see some kind of, crazy, Tate gets a series, Brock comes out and gets a series. But I said from the very jump, even before, the last game against Florida, I would not mind seeing Brock Glenn having, say, a red zone formation, some kind of set where they come in particular situations and use his, how do I put this? Use the moxie that he has back there and kind of his awareness and his ability to run. I think that would be an absolutely great idea, and it would not surprise me one bit. I think you guys hit the nail on the head there. We'll just have to see. We're not inside practices. Even the media that are allowed to be there are only there for the first 15 minutes or so, a lot of times in those things. But yeah, I think absolutely you could see a package for him. Don't think you're going to see him a ton, like 10, 15 snaps, but maybe down there in the red zone, you get some of that zone read action like we saw out of Brock in the first couple of appearances.
So I would say I wouldn't expect any packages for Brock Glenn against Louisville. I don't think you need them. But in the playoffs, I could see it. Absolutely.
Yeah, that makes sense because you'd have a month to come up with something.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think you need them for Louisville. Let's be honest. Maybe I'm just sounding, kind of way too cocky. But yeah, I've watched Louisville. We know a lot of their best players, and I think I'm A-okay on that. I don't think you need to do that. I think you can do a game manager type situation like you did with Florida with Tate, and I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not that worried about it.
If you had a retort, I'll let you get that one off, Brad, or if you had any other questions.
Yeah, I guess one more question. What do you think? Did you hear me?
Yeah, I got you back now. Oh, I hear, but I hear everything but you. Can you hear me, Brad?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, there you go.
What do you think Tate needs to do a little bit better against Louisville than what he did with the Gators? I mean, you see anything different needs to improve on?
Absolutely, man. Look, and thanks for calling. We'll answer that one, and we'll try to get the next one up there. Yeah, Brad, what can he improve on? The biggest thing for me is going to be that pocket awareness. He caught himself a couple times either drifting back or kind of running to the wrong direction and getting our offensive line in trouble when otherwise he could have had a clean pocket. And then also you saw him kind of just hold on to that thing in that safety in the first half and freeze. That scared me more than anything. It was him kind of freezing and taking that safety, but at the same time, he didn't fumble it. So that's great. But yeah, the pocket presence and getting the ball out on time. Let's get that ball out in under 3 seconds. I think that's the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
But we've got one more caller coming in here. This one's from Tennessee. How's it going, man? You're live on the Renegade Report.
Oh, how's it going? It's Brad from Germantown, Tennessee.
What did he say? Did we get?
I know exactly who this is.
Did we get another prank caller there?
No.
Okay.
This is a friend of mine from high school. So
okay, well, let me call him back real quick. We lost connection there. I couldn't.
I knew exactly who it was.
When I saw you laugh, I instinctively hung up. I thought he was saying something inappropriate.
No.
My bad, man. I thought you were saying something inappropriate there, the way Jen reacted, but I guess you're just her buddy. But go ahead and start your takeoff from the beginning there.
Oh man, I was just saying, just supporting Jen. Like, she's a great friend. She knows her stuff. She is great, and why is she so embarrassed?
Look, I tell that all the time.
I guess I didn't expect you to call.
Jen is great. I could not be happier. Couldn't have a better co-host, and she has been absolutely amazing for the channel. I agree.
Is awesome.
She knows her stuff.
She knows her stuff. I've recommended her to many people, and what?
You have any football questions?
Yeah, come on, Brad. Where's your football question?
I think we're gonna get in. We beat Louisville. It's not a question. I don't. My question was like, who does Florida State play like top four? I mean, if they're 4, they're number 3. Like, where do we play?
I think if they beat Louisville, they're going to be 3 because Washington and Oregon. Washington's probably going to lose to Oregon, right? So Florida State's going to jump to 3. I think they put them against Michigan, which I kind of like that matchup.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate you calling in, and we'll catch you next time. We just have to call and embarrass Jen every time we do one of these, man.
Absolutely, I will.
All right, man. God bless and
Thanks,
go Noles.
Bradley.
You too. Thanks. All right.
And I got to appreciate my guy, James Coleman, policing the chat out there. This William McMillian guy, it's the one time I'll say your name. He's in here every episode, just absolutely talking mess about
What happened?
different stuff. Just negative guy. He's just a negative guy. He's the guy that's always in there talking about we need Deuce Spann to start at quarterback and all this stuff. And Rodemaker's not the guy. He mixes it up. He has some good takes every once in a while, but he likes to get in there and pick at us. So yeah, get out of here with the nonsense. But I will say that I wouldn't mind if Tate ran a little bit more RPO. Yeah, that's our guy that wants to talk about his member. So
oh God,
we're gonna let that one keep going to voicemail. Jeez, he is persistent.
this could be my fault. This really could be my fault. I'm just saying.
What did you write the number in a bathroom stall somewhere?
No, I'm just saying, like, I have some weirdos, man. Like,
look, if you're doing something like this, it's gonna happen. You're gonna get it. Eventually we'll have a producer, and we'll be able to screen these things. But for now, you're gonna have some of those get through. We have somebody calling from Canada right now. Let's take this one.
Yay! Let's see.
You are live on the Renegade Report Call-In Show. How's it going?
Hi there, brother. Thanks for having me. I just wanted to deliver some good news to you and your viewers, and that is that I've set up your voicemail greeting for you fucking long.
Man, yeah, we're on he found a different number, I guess. It's the same guy, but anyways, having a fun time here, moving right along. Oh, man.
I knew as soon as Brad called, I was like, oh, that's so nice.
I can't even remember what the last football thing we were talking about, guys. We're going to get back to it. We're almost an hour into this thing. We usually only run an hour, but shoot, we've always got almost 100 people in the lobby here, so we're going to keep running. If you have any questions, again, remember, I'm going to throw that number back up on the screen. It's 850-495-1906. You can text in your questions or call in, either or. And as you can see, it's pretty easy to get up here. But yeah, if you've got some football questions, let's get them in. Anybody who wants to call in, you are more than welcome. But let's just talk about football, not so much anatomy there. But yes, while we don't have anybody on the line, I read out to you guys earlier. I told you I have top 10 high school recruits that we're after, and I gave you the 3 that I have predicted to Florida State. Now I want to give you those other 7 names to watch for outside of Coy Parrish, Jeremiah Smith, and the third one. What was the third one that I gave? That would be Kai Bates. All 3 of those I'm predicting to be in the class, but there's also these other ones here, including but not limited to, starting with Denos White. Here's a defensive tackle name. He's 6'3.5", 327 pounds, out of Concord, North Carolina. He's a 3-star. He's not one of these jump off the board crazy 5-star talents, but I think he would be a great guy to bring in and possibly turn into a guy like, you've got in Joshua Farmer that could just really become a menace inside. But we'll see. I think if Florida State, if it comes down to him and they really want him in the class, he will be there. But I'm not sure exactly where they're at on that one. Of course, you have LJ McCray, the UF Verbal, who are still recruiting Xavier Mincy, a guy thereafter, Cam Coleman, and Jason Zandamilla at USC, and of course Artavius Jones at Miami, along with Josiah Trader. So look for all 7 of those guys. And we've got another caller coming in here. This one is from Kentucky. How's it going, man? You are live on the Renegade Report.
Hey, this is Dale. How's it going?
How's it going, Dale, man? We're happy to talk about some Noles football. You got a question for us?
Yeah, big game coming up. Louisville. Just watched UK take them apart last weekend. Real good game. And about your voicemail, I think you need to check it right now on air, okay?
All righty. So I don't know what that one was. I guess that was like a
I think that's another pervert. I think it's another
he didn't say anything out of the way. So I guess if you're going to troll like that one, we'll do that good. But I guess I think what happened is one of the trolls, there's some way you can go in and hack people's greetings or something. I don't know. It's crazy what people do to have a good time. But I agree with you, Mike Bartz, 15-0. But before the non-question came in, I was talking about those 7 guys I kind of ran through them there, but yeah, after Denos White, you have LJ McCray, who we've talked about ad nauseum. He went to UF. He kind of trolled us when he committed to UF, but this staff is after him. He's like, he's one of the top 3 defensive tackles in the nation, no matter who you talk to. Some places have him 1, some places have him 2, but he's just that top guy. So if we can get him, Florida just fired their defensive line coach. You get him. Anything you can do to get that guy on campus, he's a freak. Xavier Mincy on the defensive backside. This is a guy that Florida thought they were getting, and I thought of the 2 schools, that's where he would go. But again, Corey Raymond out at Florida. So if they can find room and they continue to push for Mincy, maybe you see him go in there, but I think it's more likely you get Kai Bates in that class. Cam Coleman is the number 1 player in all of Alabama and an absolute freak wide receiver.
He's going to Auburn, right?
Well, he was committed to Texas A&M, and now he has a crystal ball. Everybody is predicting to go to Auburn. I believe he had visited Florida State, and then he went to Auburn 2 times in a row. And since then, it's pretty much been all Auburn. So we'll see what happens there. There's an outside chance. But look, just like with Keldrick Falk last year, who we saw, Hugh Freeze got him immediately the second he got there. After Florida State pushed for him recruited him.
Still
for
waiting
whatever
on that kid to hit that portal because
I don't think that's going to happen. I think Auburn, they're going to be okay. They had their rough first year, but I think Hugh Freeze is going to get that thing going on. I don't think they don't have the same institutional problems at Ole Miss as they have at Florida and Miami type things. In my opinion, I think not Ole Miss, excuse me, but Hugh Freeze, Auburn. I think Hugh Freeze is more on the line of Mike Norvell, and he's going to get in there and get that thing cleaned up and get his guys in there. We're not talking personal, but if you want to talk about the programs he's built, there's no argument.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
I'm just talking about the football program. We're not talking about the person.
I'm talking about the program there because they ran Brian Harsin out of town by making up a fake rumor about an affair.
Right.
Ran him out of town and then hired for principal Hugh Freeze.
Yeah,
and so if you but what I'm saying is, if you really think that program is in nothing, is run well because of that situation, okay, we'll see.
All he's ever done is win. He's a bad person, whatever you want. I don't think so. I'm a believer in Hugh Freeze. I bought in. I used to talk major shit about him, but as far as on the football side, I don't. But yeah, he could definitely have an affair and blow the whole thing up in 2-3 years.
I don't even care about affairs. That's not even my personal issues are your personal issues. What I'm saying is the admin behind him, that was the disorganization, the BS. The people who even hired Brian Harsin in the first place are the same ones who started a rumor and ran him out of town. So the first time Hugh Freeze does one thing wrong, I guess we'll see.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
I don't buy into that. I think Brian Harsin was a Willie Taggart situation, and they found a way to get him out of town. I agree with you 100%. It was silly and it was a joke how they did it, but I think they did the best thing for Auburn. You know what I mean? Gus Malzahn was there for how long? A decade, and he was only good every 3rd or 4th year. Auburn has super high expectations, and you see what they do against Alabama. Even as bad as they are, they almost beat Alabama. So this is a good one. We will have to have a debate about this one later on because I used to be right there with you and not so much on the Auburn thing, but I just did not believe in Hugh Freeze. I wish I could go back and still had it. I had a 30-40 minute long conversation with Hugh Freeze in direct messages when he was down and out. And before he took the Liberty job at that point in time was a pretty tough time at my life. So I was just picking fights with people and throwing stones in a glass house. So I was talking all this stuff about him on Twitter, and the dude literally is in my inbox. At that time I had 75 followers, and we had a 30-minute conversation. I talked crap to him, all this stuff. Well, all I'm saying, long story short, as much as I thought he was a big fake, like Tim Tebow, I thought in college was a fake, they both, to me, proved that they're just who they are. That's who they are. They are those Jesus people, and so I bought in. I'm a believer in Hugh Freeze. He made it famous.
Well, I don't disbelieve in him. What I disbelieve is the situation at Auburn. Yeah, that's where I'm going. Yeah. The Auburn admin, the way the fan base works because right now they're in a bad place. They just paid a team $2 million to come in and beat their butt. You know what I mean? And I didn't know if I should cuss or not, but
you're good on this channel.
They straight up paid a team $2 million to come in and beat their ass. Okay. And Hugh Freeze, this is his first year. Now, do I totally believe? I don't think he's Nick Saban. I don't even think he's a type A coach that I put him. Let me try and word this properly. I think, okay, I'm from Memphis, so fully aware of Hugh Freeze. So I'm just going to leave that right there, right? The movie The Blind Side, Hugh Freeze was the coach on The Blind Side. We all get that. But I don't know. This is hard for me because I agree with you. I think Hugh Freeze is a great coach. And I don't think he's a bad person just because his personal issues. I don't think he's a bad person because he cheated in college football. Who hasn't? Okay. For me, I don't think the admin at Auburn is something that's going to help him succeed. And I just don't see it.
Yeah.
But that could just be me. That could just be me. To me, it seems like a clown show because of everything else that's gone on. You look at it from when they played in that first national championship game with
Auburn,
Gene Chizik. Gene Chizik. Yes, against Oregon. That program has been a mess. And I know they played Florida State. I get it. But we all know that was a fluke. And it's been a mess since then. It's been a mess.
Yeah,
Gene Chizik.
We will definitely have to circle back on this one. We'll have to circle back on this one because I disagree vehemently. but it's definitely a fun talk.
With the admin at Auburn, you think they're actually like competent?
I mean, I don't know. If you go look up the records while he was there against Alabama and what they did, getting the championships twice in 4 years, it's like that's not something that happens. So it's like it's not something you can just toss off as easy as you did with an aside there. Like it's not. But like I said, we could. I can tell this is fun. Like we could have some fun talking about this. I think that it's just extreme pressure, and like those people in Auburn and Alabama, like I agree with you, they're nuts. Like the way they are about football in the Auburn Alabama game, they'd rather go 0-11 and beat Alabama. Like they'd be fine.
Yeah.
They prefer that over losing to Alabama and going to the national championship. But yeah, I can't speak too much on the current administration is there.
Yeah.
But just saying, like as a Florida State fan, Auburn, like they have some bad years, but it's like they don't ever go too long without having a good year too. So I would just hold off judgment. I could see them in 2-3 years having that thing absolutely rolling, especially with Nick Saban getting older and older again. But that's why we have opinions, and I'm willing to bet more people agree with you than me on that one. But I don't know. I guess I just have a soft spot for Hugh and Auburn. I don't know what it is. But Angelo Smith again has another question for us. Question: did anyone else notice Biscuit wasn't in the game Saturday? Is he hurt or was that on purpose? That is a very good question, and I'm gonna go Ted tell you I noticed while the game has gone on, but I haven't thought about it or looked into it at all. I haven't heard anything about any serious injuries. I would guess he's just probably a little banged up.
I think it was a rest. I think it was on purpose.
Yeah, I would guess probably just a rest. And if anything, there just weren't a ton of plays in that Florida game. You know, if I had to guess, there was probably less plays on offense ran in that Florida game than we've seen all year. Like
I think Jaheim Bell matched up better. I think Jaheim Bell matched up better. I think he was a better option for that particular defense, you know, that defensive scheme. I think, and obviously Jaheim did a great job. So I think that was on purpose, but I think you'll probably see a lot more Biscuit on Saturday.
Yes, I would hope so. Hopefully he isn't hurt, and hopefully we'll see more of him Saturday. I agree 100%. Guys, we're in here. We're at 1 hour and 10 minutes. Jen is like this super amazing chick. She's got sick baby. She's got a busy life. She's got all her fans she has to tend to, so we can't be on here for 3 hours. But we'll give you guys another 5-10 minutes if you have any questions.
Oh yeah,
now's
I'm
your time to
so
get your call in
busy.
there,
I'm
guys.
so busy. I have so many fans. I'm so busy. You're right.
It's she's being naive, not naive. What's the word? Humble. She's being humble, guys. She
I'm
really
not
does.
being humble at all.
Let's see.
I am not. I'm not.
Do we have any more questions, guys? Get your questions in, and we will answer them before we get out of here. Is there any takes you want to get off your chest before we get out of here, Jen? Anything you've been wanting to talk about?
Well, no, I guess not. I don't know. I don't know. I'm really disappointed with, just how people treated the Florida win. I don't like it. I think other teams get these praises for going into having a gritty performance like Alabama versus Auburn. I know how you feel about Auburn now, so I won't say anything else. But that is some crap. That team needed a fluke to beat that sorry team that lost by 30 points or something to New Mexico State, who they paid $2 million to come in there and do that to them. So no, I think
just for the record, we can make fun of this version of the Auburn team all we want. Screw Auburn. but yeah, on that specific conversation, yeah, we could debate that one for sure.
Georgia struggled with Georgia Tech. Georgia struggled with Georgia Tech. Washington struggled with Washington State, who's a 5-win team, whose claim to fame is beating the crap out of Deion Sanders, who hasn't won it like the last 6 games. So again, who didn't even carry insurance on his players. Cool beans, whatever.
Dude, oh my God. We can talk about that before we get out of here. How in the hell? So what, like for the first half of the season or something, they were playing without workers' comp? I don't know what it's called because they're not technically employees.
It's collateral insurance or something is what it is. Injury. I have it right here.
That is absolutely nuts. And you see all these guys, look, that is something that was a conversation. And I went on a rant, I believe, last week's show about this. When you look at these portal rankings, and everybody wanted to tell me that Colorado had the best recruiting class or the best portal class in the nation. And Florida State, I believe when you look at them, was actually like 11th or 12th. And they had Indiana, Arizona State, all these schools above them. These portal rankings, I don't know if they've changed it. We're going to see what they look like this year. But I want you people out there to understand, when you look at the transfer portal rankings, look at them and then just that's it. Erase it from your memory because they're worthless. Okay. Colorado's best players were in line with the very worst players that we lost. Now, outside, I'm not talking about the dudes that he brought with him. I'm not talking about Schroeder. I'm not talking about Travis Hunter. I'm talking about the high school kids he brought in and the portal kids he brought with him. The guys he took from Florida State, the 6 dudes who everybody was like, "Ooh, Deion's taking Florida State's players. Watch out, watch out." Go see how that worked out for them.
Yeah.
Up there. Go look at their stats versus at Florida State and versus their snap counts, et cetera, et cetera. Derek McClendon, yeah, he had like 17 tackles and a sack and a half. He would have been way better off staying at Florida State.
And by the way, so with Travis Hunter, no offense.
Oh my goodness. Could you imagine if Travis Hunter came out of high school to Florida State?
He doesn't have insurance for his plethora of injuries that playing 2 spots has caused him. Now, again,
120 snaps a game. It's nuts.
Like, I get his choice. If he wanted to flip, fine. I'm not even upset with the kid for flipping. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is his life, his prospects in the future, because he doesn't even have, like, I'm hoping Deion's going to pay for it out of his pocket.
Yeah, I don't. Whether it's Deion's on the hook for it or Colorado, the university on the hook for it, somebody's going to pay for it. But that's just absolutely, it's a wild situation. And I speculated that maybe like Deion has came clean to some of these recruits about his intentions on how long he's going to be there, because I understand they ended up going on a losing streak, but it's pretty wild how in a span of a day and a half, 2 days, literally like 5 or 6 guys off of the 24 and the 25
where would you
class
think Deion's going to go?
Completely emptied. Well, and I don't know if you just saw that comment, but I saw the meme and somebody sent me the same thing that they're talking about. I think sending you, Brad, Brad there. I saw a meme talking about Shador and Travis Hunter to Florida State in the transfer
Oh,
portal.
no.
Deion's out of coaching. I don't know about that, guys. I don't think that's
No, y'all that's a joke. You gotta go look at the comments under that, because let me promise you, FSU Twitter lit that thing up.
Oh,
By the way, you guys are hilarious. I love all of you. Y'all have made Matt Barry's life miserable, Pine miserable. And the other, oh my God, I can't remember the other person who posted about Deion asking for money. That is an amazing thread. Please go read it. It's on my Twitter. It's so fantastic. I was crying. It's great.
All right. Well, look, we're going to hit 2 or 3 more questions out of these comments, and we're going to get out of here. I'm going to address this one. Mr. Kool-Aid Maker. What's the chances Verse can replicate what he did in Gainesville? Because he hasn't played like that since he has been at FSU. Was that more of the Florida offensive line being bad, or Verse hitting a different gear? Okay, so first off, I would like to disagree and say he had several games like that last year. Second of all, I would say he's been playing amazing all year. And I'm not calling you a casual or anything like that. It's just hard if you're not a coach or just studying film all day, every day, to understand how these coaches grade out pass rush performances. And believe me, it's known across the country from every coach, every NFL scout. Jared Verse is one of the top 3, top 5 guys in the nation. And week in and week out, he has performed like that. There's a reason our defense has been so good this year. And it's been him eating up double teams and getting concentrated on guys scheming around him all year long. It's the reason Peyton has good numbers. It's the reason you see those guys in the interior be able to get such good penetration, because they have to focus so much on him. So, yeah, when you see Daryl Jackson come in, if we can make it to that playoff or in the bowl game, I think you'll see Jared Verse have an absolutely unreal game because of having that fresh guy putting pressure up the middle. I think it's just people have tape on him, and they're not going to let Jared Verse wreck their game. That's what's happened. So we've saw different guys eat in the defense. It's the reason Kalen DeLoach is just absolutely, he leads like every stat category, because our defensive line took such a massive step forward this year and cleaned up those lanes for their linebackers to play.
Yeah, and I think Daryl Jackson's coming back next year. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I saw this conversation happen on Twitter. Like, but it never even occurred to me. I don't understand why he would leave, or like, he left Miami to come down here to improve his draft stock and be close to his mom. So he got a whole year to not even, I mean, he's practicing and everything, but he didn't have to play games. So he's got to be near his mom, help get his, get a routine going there, help his mom in this situation. And so you're in a perfect situation now to come in and maybe get to play a little bit in the bowl game and have a great year and go out in the draft. It's a perfect situation for him to come back. I don't think he leaves. I think it'd be nuts, but yeah, that's out there. But no, I definitely think he stays. And Anthony FSU, we're going to do one more question. Do you think Florida State should go and get a seasoned quarterback out of the transfer portal when it opens in December? Or do you think somebody's going to want to come and play for FSU? We talked about this one at the beginning, but for those of you that weren't there, we'll hit it again. I was against this. Jen was on board with bringing in a portal quarterback. I saw that Florida game, and I'm on board. Me and Jen are now on the same page. I think they do look out going to get somebody to come in to compete for that position. And hell yeah, guys, I said this once or twice already during the show. You do not understand. I promise you. Don't listen to anybody else that tells you, oh, well, Florida State's not going to take as big of a portal class and all this stuff. Florida State is going to sign a generational portal class this year. It's going to be an all-star group of guys like you would not believe. There's almost no recruiting to be done at this point. Like, I don't think you guys understand just how amazingly Florida State has done. If you go back and look at our past 2 portal classes and the hit rate on them, it's absolutely insane. So, yeah. Whether the perfect guy is out there that they decide to bring in is beyond me. I don't know if that happens, but absolutely there will be guys that want to come in. We'll just have to see who the names are, and maybe we'll get into that more on the next show. But man, we're going to cut this thing off here in a minute. Thank you guys so much for joining us. You have been great. Thanks for all the callers, even the guy that wanted to talk about his member. Thanks for the people that text in their questions. Thanks for the commented questions, all that good stuff. We sure appreciate you. And William McMillian, I miss this thing, man. And I was talking about you earlier about how you have some great takes, but sometimes you like to pick on us and troll a little bit. But $2 super chat from William. There's no comment attached to it. It's just a
Oh, he
sticker.
gave you a
So
sticker. There
yes,
you go.
sir. We appreciate you, McMillan, and go Noles. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, guys.
Well,
oh, do I get out? Okay.